Good evening, traveller, and welcome to the Sleepy Dreamer. You're lying wherever you are, in your own small corner of the world, and the night is gathering softly around you. You might hear a faint sound nearby, maybe the low murmur of a fan or the faraway hush of traffic, or only the quiet pulse of your own room. For a moment, let all of that be enough. Feel the surface beneath you holding your weight, steady and patient. Notice how your body does not have to try to be held. It simply rests. Let your shoulders sink a little deeper, as if the day is sliding down and away, like light leaving the edge of a hill at dusk. Your breath is already moving, even if you've not watched it all day. Now you give it a little more attention, as if you are turning toward a friend. Inhale slowly through your nose. Feel the air cool as it enters, then let it slip out in a long, gentle stream. The room around you has its own quiet weather. There might be a faint thread of warmth, or the cool brush of night air across your cheeks and hands. Somewhere, a shadow shifts on the wall, very slowly, almost like a tide. You are here, in this small human space, yet tonight your thoughts are invited to wander a little further. Not in a way that wakes you, not with bright sparks and fast images, but with long, soft waves of feeling and light. You're not preparing for anything. You're only allowing the mind to loosen its grip and drift. As you rest, imagine that you are not alone in this stillness. Imagine that there is a quiet companion out there, far beyond the sky you know, moving through a night much deeper than this one, a tiny traveller made of metal and memory, still gliding through the dark. Before we reach that distant traveller, linger once more with your own body. Let the muscles around your eyes soften, as if a weight has been gently lifted from behind your forehead. Let your jaw relax, your tongue resting loosely, your lips easing into a neutral, peaceful line. Your hands may wish to uncurl now. If they do, let your fingers slide open, slow and lazy, as if they are petals that have waited all day to fall. Notice the faint sensation of fabric against your skin, the quiet press of the blanket or sheet, the temperature of the air where it touches bare flesh. Each breath is a small motion through space. Air flows in and out, a tide between your body and the room, between the warmth within you and the coolness outside. That movement is your own gentle orbit, your own small dance in the dark. Somewhere up above, beyond your ceiling, beyond the roof and the clouds and the thin blue shell of the atmosphere, another motion continues. Long ago, before this particular night, before this particular breath, a pair of small spacecraft were sent outward from Earth. One of them, Voyager, is still moving, still falling through the gravity of the sun, yet so far that it feels almost free. Imagine the world on the day it left. People stood by screens and switches, heartbeats quickened, voices hushed as engines roared. The sky over the launch pad was bright, the air sharp with heat and smoke, and a slim shape of metal rose into the blue. Now that roar is long gone. The fuel burned long ago. The fire is finished. The noise has thinned into the quiet memory of old recordings. Yet the small craft that rode that flame did not stop when the sound did. It kept going, past the clouds, past the high, thin air where jets still trace lines, into an altitude where Earth curves away in a blue arc of light. There the world looked like a single, glowing marble, wrapped in cloud and ocean. Even then, Voyager was already on its way to the outer dark. As you breathe, let your awareness rise gently from your room toward that height. Not in a rush, not all at once, but like a balloon loosening from a hand drifting upward. You still feel the bed beneath you, but part of your mind is floating higher, watching the world soften into a sphere. The air around you is cool or warm, and you're used to its familiar thickness. Up there, around the planet, the air is thin, stretched, almost gone. Yet the memory of it clings to Voyager's path, a soft outline of the place it once called home. From orbit, the craft aimed further outward, past the comforting blue, into the wide, dark space where the sun shines like a bright coin and the planets turn in their patient routes. Solar panels, instruments, a golden disk tucked against its body, all guided by the quiet logic of mathematics and human care. Now bring your attention back to your chest. Feel how each breath lifts and settles, like a small wave that never stops reaching the shore. With every exhale, imagine some of the day leaving you, flowing out of your ribs and into the floor. You might notice places that still hold on, small islands of tension, perhaps in the lower back or the neck or the space between the shoulder blades. Let your next breath drift toward one of those places like a tide wrapping a stone. Inhale and imagine the muscles there softening, even if only a little. Exhale and let that area grow heavier, as if settling into sand. There is nothing you have to fix, only a gentle invitation to loosen. As you soften, imagine Voyager far away, also held by invisible forces. Not by cushions or blankets, but by the gravity of the sun, by the faint push of photons and particles. It too is cradled, even though it flies through emptiness. In your mind's eye, see the craft as a small shape against a wash of stars. Perhaps you picture it as a spindly frame, with a dish like a white flower turned back toward the distant sun. Thin arms reach out, holding instruments, while one quiet circular disk of gold catches what little light reaches it. The darkness around it is not hostile. It is wide and cold and still, yet it holds the craft like an endless sea holds a leaf. There is room, endless room for drifting. Feel the air on your face, the simple softness of it. It might be cooler on the inhale, warmer on the exhale, a small physical reminder that you are exchanging energy with your surroundings. This simple flow, in and out, is your own version of a cosmic wind. Around Voyager, the solar wind is far thinner than air. Near the sun, those particles rush outward at hundreds of kilometers each second. Yet by the time they reach Voyager, the flow is more like a soft, ghostly mist. You do not need to hold the numbers. Just imagine a breath from the sun, stretched across billions of kilometers, still brushing the spacecraft with a faint, steady touch. A touch so light, you could pass through it without feeling, yet steady enough to shape the edges of space around our star. Here in your room, you can feel your own version of that steady touch. The way gravity holds you down, the way the bed rises up to meet your weight. The way the air settles on your skin like a quiet, unseen blanket. You and Voyager are very different, yet you are also the same. Both of you move through a medium, both of you are carried by forces you rarely think about. Both of you are small compared to the vastness that holds you. Let that thought be comforting, not frightening. You are not responsible for the whole sky, only for this next breath, this next soft release of tension. The universe is large enough to carry you without effort. Imagine that in a control room, long ago, people watched Voyager's early signals. They saw tiny patterns of numbers, small waves on a screen, proving that the craft was alive and speaking. Voices murmured, Pens scratched on paper, hearts lifted as the data flowed in. Those rooms may be quiet now, or changed, or dark. The people have aged, their lives turning inward, outward, in their own cycles of joy and burden. Yet Voyager still travels, an echo of those first bright days, still whispering back across the distance. Your own life has had bright days and quiet ones. Moments when your heart felt like a rocket flame. Moments when it felt like a fading ember. Tonight you do not need to judge any of those moments, only to let them drift past like clouds. Take another breath, slow and steady. Notice how the inhale arrives with no effort, as if the world is offering you air as a gift. Notice how the exhale leaves with an equally natural ease, as if the world is just as ready to take what you release. In your mind, the room is now a little darker, a little more spacious. Maybe the corners feel farther away, the ceiling more distant, as if the walls have stepped back to give you room to drift. Your attention floats upward again, out through the roof, into the clear night. The sky spreads over you like a deep ocean. Perhaps you recall the first time you saw a truly dark sky, where the Milky Way brushed the night like a silver river. Or perhaps you have never seen such a sky, and you imagine it now, a band of light made of countless stars. Somewhere within that band, Voyager is a point too small to see. No telescope in your hand could find it from here, yet it is there, moving, step by gentle step, carried along by a path set years ago. In the strong days near launch, the spacecraft swung past planets. It used the gravity of Jupiter and Saturn like stepping stones, stealing a little speed, changing direction, letting their mass bend its path. Those giant worlds gave it enough momentum to continue outward into regions where the sun grows faint. You do not need to picture every detail. Only imagine that each close encounter was like a hand on its back, a gentle push, a blessing for the road ahead. Now those hands are far away, yet the push remains, stored in its motion. Think of all the objects you've sent away with some part of yourself attached. A message, a gift, a farewell glance at someone walking down a street, or through a doorway, or toward a train. Those moments stay lodged in the motion, like soft fingerprints on the air. Voyager is full of such fingerprints. Engineers who tightened bolts, scientists who chose instruments, artists and thinkers who selected images and songs for the golden record. Voices in many languages, songs from many cultures, sounds of water and wind and heartbeats, all etched into metal. Even now, in this quiet room, you're connected to that record. You share the same home planet it remembers, the same mixture of oceans and mountains and music and rain. It carries pieces of your world, turning slowly in the cold. Imagine your fingertips brushing the edge of that golden disc. You feel the faint texture of the grooves, the subtle temperature of the metal that has known sunlight and shadow. It is cool, not as cold as space, but cooler than a hand waiting for someone to listen. You cannot hear it playing out there, of course. There is no air to carry the vibrations, no needle resting in those grooves, but the potential for music is still there, coiled like a sleeping snake, quiet and patient. In your own chest there is music as well, the slow rhythm of your heart, the soft rush of blood, the whisper of air in and out. You are your own record, playing a song shaped by your life. Let your breath fall into an easy, steady rhythm now. In through the nose or mouth, whichever is gentler, out in a long exhale that feels like the end of a long day. If thoughts come, let them exist, then let them drift. like loose pages floating on a slow black river. The room grows quieter with each moment. Even if sounds remain, they seem to move further away, as if wrapped in gauze. You're lying in a small harbour of stillness, while above you the great dark sea of space stretches without end. Somewhere in that sea, Voyager glides, silent as a shadow. Its metal skin feels no wind, no rain, no touch, only the occasional kiss of a particle, the faint pull of distant gravity. Yet in that silence it carries a memory of storms, of oceans, of hands touching hands. You might picture it now as nothing more than a pale outline, a sketch against a canvas of black and distant stars. Its radio antenna points roughly toward the tiny dot of home, sending whispers that grow weaker with each passing year. Still, those whispers arrive, caught by large dishes on Earth, turned back into numbers and ideas. You, lying here in the dark, are part of the same story. You live on the world that launched this small traveller. You breathe the air that once kissed its metal surface. The dust in your room, the atoms in your body, many of them were forged in stars like those that now surround Voyager. If you listen inwardly, you might notice a faint hum. Not a sound in the ears, but a sense of something steady beneath your thoughts. It might be your heartbeat, or the slow pulse of your breath, or simply the awareness that you are here. Let that hum be your anchor. Each time your mind starts to wander too far, return to that hum, that steady, quiet feeling. You do not need to push thoughts away, only to let them pass through, like light sliding across a window. Out there, far beyond, solar winds slip past Voyager's edges. Tiny charged particles drift and swirl, shaped by the invisible lines of the sun's magnetic field. The spacecraft rides this gentle weather, a small seed blown by a great unseen breeze. In here, closer to home, a smaller wind moves through you. Air enters, fills the lungs, brushes the throat, leaves again. This simple motion anchors you, just as gravity anchors your body to the bed. Notice the touch of fabric on your legs and arms. Notice the way the blanket lies over you, like a soft, quiet cloud. Notice the temperature at the tip of your nose, the way it cools slightly as you breathe in. Your whole body is a small world with its own kind of weather. Warm currents of blood, cool air on the skin, pressure where you meet the mattress, release where muscles melt. You're not separate from the universe that holds Voyager. You're one small pattern within it. As your awareness drifts between your body and the distant craft, a feeling of shared stillness begins to form. You're lying still, yet you move with the turning Earth. Voyager races through space, yet it seems frozen in the endless night. The contrast is soothing. Your fast-moving planet, your fast-moving thoughts, your fast-moving days, and then this slowing, this gentle pause. And far away, a traveller that has never hurried, that only follows the long curve of its path. Let the idea of distance soften now. Do not strain to imagine billions of kilometres, or complex orbits, or the edge of the heliosphere. Just know that far, far beyond the clouds, something small and patient drifts on. You and Voyager share this moment, though you're separated by unimaginable space. You both are held by gravity, moved by invisible winds, surrounded by a vastness you cannot fully see. In that shared condition, there is a quiet comfort. As you ease deeper into the night, imagine that you and the spacecraft are floating together on the same invisible tide. You, in your bed, in your room, wrapped in warmth and familiar scents. Voyager, in a sea of thin light and scattered particles, wrapped in the endless velvet of space. For now, you do not need to know where it will go or what it will see. You do not need to trace star charts or count the years. You only need to feel that somewhere, in a night far darker than this one, a tiny messenger of your world is still moving forward. You're not alone in the dark. Your breath is a small moonrise and moonset. Your heartbeat a slow, dependable orbit. And out beyond the stars you see and the stars you cannot see, Voyager turns in the same cosmic quiet, still carried by the gentle tide of light. And as you rest within your own soft darkness, perhaps a single thought glows in you too, small and steady, like a firefly above deep water, a reminder that even far from home, something small can still feel held by the dark. That small, steady glow inside you lingers for a moment, like an ember cradled in cupped hands. You rest there, in that softness, breathing slowly, feeling the bed beneath you and the quiet spread around your body. The dark of your room and the dark between the stars feel a little closer now, almost touching at the edge of your imagination. As this feeling settles, another thought begins to rise. Not sharp, not urgent, just a gentle wandering, drifting up like a bubble through deep water. You and this tiny spacecraft out in the dark are connected, and the mind asks very softly why. What does it mean, you wonder, for something built by human hands to leave the cradle of the sun? What does it mean for metal and wires and gold and code to pass beyond the familiar shell of our star's warm breath? The question is not a test, not a puzzle to solve. It is more like a quiet star seen from far away that you cannot stop looking at. You do not have to reach it. You only have to let your eyes rest there and feel what moves through you. Your next breath arrives, cool at the entrance of your nose. It fills the space beneath your collarbones, spreads through your ribs, then slips away again, warm and slow. While your body rocks gently on that tide, imagine Voyager gliding forward, as if carried in the palm of a vast unseen hand. Starlight touches the face of its dish. The light is sharp where it hits metal, yet there is no air to scatter it, no dust close by to soften it. The edges of the spacecraft seem clear against the black, like ink lines drawn on velvet. You might see its long antenna stretching out, thin rods, fine cables, the white bowl of its high-gain dish angled back toward the distant sun, every part designed, measured, checked, and yet now, out here, it simply floats. The stars around it are not the same as the stars you see from your window. Some of them are hidden behind the bright smear of the Milky Way. Some are dimmed by distance, reduced to faint points that hardly flicker. Yet the sky above you and the sky around Voyager are made of the same light. Photons from ancient fires, crossing unthinkable distance, falling on metal and retina in the same quiet way. You and the spacecraft are under one long shared night. Another breath in, another breath out. Feel the way your chest rises slow and gentle, then falls slower still. With each exhale, your body grows heavier, but your thoughts grow lighter, floating steadily outward. As your awareness follows Voyager's path, the question glows a little brighter. Long ago, someone asked not only if we could send a machine to the outer planets, but if we could send a message. Not just a tool, but a tiny bottle in a vast, invisible ocean, carrying a note about who we are. The craft itself is metal, circuits, sensors, a radio. Yet wrapped within it is something else, something more delicate. A choice, made by people who would never see where this little traveller ends up. Your skin tingles faintly as you imagine the cold there. Space near Voyager is only a few degrees above absolute zero, a temperature where most emotion almost stops. You cannot feel that chill directly, yet your mind brushes against it, like fingers sliding along frosted glass. There is no sound there, no air to carry noise from one object to another. If Voyager could ring like a bell, the vibration would stay locked inside its own body, unheard. Here in your room, tiny sounds still reach you. Perhaps the low hum of electronics, the faint movement of pipes or wind outside. Listen for a moment, very gently. Do not strain. Just notice that sound is still here with you, like a thin, warm blanket around your ears. Then imagine all of that sound slowly fading away, one layer, then the next, until there is only silence. A silence so complete it feels like a physical presence wrapped around the spacecraft. Somewhere deep inside its systems, though, a different kind of sound still pulses. Radio waves too faint for your ears, but real, leaving its antenna as a narrow, focused beam. That beam travels through space at the speed of light, a long, invisible arrow back toward Earth. By the time those signals arrive, they are unbelievably weak, far softer than the glow of a distant star. Yet with careful ears made of metal and electronics, we can still hear them, still catch each whisper. Your own thoughts, the ones flowing through you now, are smaller than radio waves. They live in electrical patterns in your brain, in tiny currents moving along delicate paths. You cannot see them, but you live inside them. Voyager's signals and your thoughts share something in common. Both are patterns in invisible fields. Both are fragile, yet capable of crossing surprising distances. The question that glows between you and the craft is not just how far or how fast. It is softer than that, more human. Why do we send our creations away? Why do we stand on the shore of our own small world and push little boats into a sea we may never cross ourselves? Why do we encode our music, our greetings, our diagrams of atoms into a disk of gold and let it slip into the dark? What are we asking of the universe when we do that? You do not need to answer in words. You can let the question drift through you, like a ribbon of light shimmering in water. The mind wanders and the body stays still. Think of the sun for a moment. A hot, bright star, ordinary in some ways, precious in others. It bathes the solar system in warmth and light, and in something else as well. From its outer layers, a continuous wind flows out. Tiny charged particles, mostly protons and electrons, streaming away in every direction. This is the solar wind, and it fills a vast bubble around our star. Near Earth, that wind is still thick enough to sculpt the tails of comets and dance with our planet's magnetic field, painting auroras in the polar sky. As you move outward toward Jupiter, Saturn, and beyond, the wind thins. Like breath dissipating in cold air, its grip grows lighter. Voyager travels through that thinning breath. The pressure of the particles around it is lower than any vacuum we can easily make on Earth. Yet the wind is there, a faint river of solar material still moving outward. You can picture it as a very fine, invisible mist. The particles are so far apart that a single grain of dust in your room would look crowded next to them. Yet they move together, guided by the magnetic field of the sun, stretched into long spiraling shapes. The farther Voyager goes, the more stretched these shapes become. Magnetic field lines extend like long, twisted ribbons. They curve and bend through space, creating gentle lanes and boundaries. Sometimes the spacecraft passes through regions where the solar wind changes speed, where the density of particles rises a little, then falls again. It measures these small changes, sending back news of the invisible weather around our star. Imagine this weather as a kind of silent music, not something you can hear with ears, but something you might feel if you were a tiny sensor on Voyager's skin. Faint pulses, soft fluctuations like a slow drum in a distant room. Now bring your attention back to your own body again. Notice how your chest moves with the breath. Notice how your limbs feel heavier than before, as if gravity has deepened. The weather inside you changes too. Nerves fire, muscles relax, heartbeat slow as you sink further into rest. Your inner fields, the tiny electromagnetic patterns of your cells and brain, adjust as your body moves towards sleep. We send Voyager outward, in part to understand this larger environment. We want to know what our star is like at the edges of its influence. We want to see where its wind meets the wind between the stars. Yet beneath that scientific curiosity, there is another layer. We want to know our place. We want to see the shape of the cradle that holds our world. The cradle is not just our planet with its oceans and continents. It is the whole bubble of the sun's influence, the region where its warmth and wind dominate. Beyond that lies a medium shaped by other stars, other winds, other stories. Voyager moves toward that boundary, and your mind follows gently. The question that began as a distant spark now flickers closer to your heart. What does it mean to cross such a line? When a child learns to walk away from a parent's arms, something changes. They are still held by love, by memory, by the wider world, but a boundary has been crossed. A new kind of distance appears, and with it, a new kind of possibility. In a way, Voyager is doing something similar, at a much larger scale. It is moving away from the central warmth that first gave it power and purpose. It journeys into a realm where our sun is not the main composer of the music, but only one note in a vast chord. You might remember times in your own life when you moved beyond a familiar boundary, the first night away from home, a first journey to a new city, or a new country, or a new chapter. In those moments, your body was still the same, your heart still beating, your breath still flowing. Yet the air felt slightly different, the sounds around you unfamiliar, the light on the walls a little strange. Part of you was curious, part of you cautious, part of you quietly thrilled. Voyager carries that feeling in metal form. It does not feel emotion, yet we pour our own feelings into its story. We look at its path and see our own longing to step beyond what we know. Above you, beyond you, around you, the Milky Way curves in a slow, glowing arc. Billions of stars, each with its own winds, its own planets, its own invisible bubbles. Somewhere between those lights, the solar wind from our own star thins and fades. As Voyager approaches that region, cosmic rays become more numerous. These are high-energy particles that come from distant explosions, from supernovae and other powerful events. They stream through space, passing through the solar system, passing through Voyager, passing through you. Most of them are stopped or slowed by our planet's atmosphere and magnetic field. Yet they are part of the larger story, part of the quiet rain of energy that falls across the galaxy. Voyager's instruments can feel the change as more of these cosmic rays appear. When the solar wind is strong, it shields the inner regions from many of these particles. When it weakens, the shield thins, and the cosmic rain grows heavier. By reading these subtle signs, Scientists learned that Voyager had entered a new environment. You do not need to hold these details. Let them wash through you like soft waves of information, then recede. What matters is the feeling of a threshold, a place where one kind of space gives way to another. As your body sinks deeper into comfort, your mind senses that threshold too. The edge between waking and sleep. The place where thoughts are still clear enough to follow, but gentle enough to let go. You're hovering near that edge now. Your muscles feel slower, softer. Your eyelids are heavy, even if they are already closed. Just as Voyager moves through the thinning breath of the sun, you move through the thinning breath of the day. Each inhale draws in the last traces of wakefulness. Each exhale releases a little more of the noise and clatter you no longer need. There is something tender in the act of letting go. We send away. We step beyond, not to abandon what came before, but to honour it by moving forward. Voyager's path is a long, slow honouring of the human wish to know and to be known. Inside its frame the golden record rests, like a heart sealed in a chest of metal. On its surface are etched images and sounds, instructions in a language no one has yet read. Star maps, diagrams, greetings, songs. Imagine that disc now, in your mind's inner dark. See it as a circle of warm colour against the black. Perhaps some distant star shines across it, making a small arc of light along its rim. The disc turns very slowly, almost imperceptibly. No one is there to watch it spin, yet it does. Time moves, and with it, the record's face changes its angle to whatever light may reach it. If one day, in some unimaginable future, another intelligence were to find Voyager, they might trace a fingertip along that metal. They might notice the patterns carved into its surface. They might sense that this is not random, that this is intention preserved in gold. We do not know who they would be, or what form they might take. We do not know if they would have eyes, or hands, or anything we would recognize. But we still sent the record as if saying to the universe, "We are here, and we thought of you." That gesture is woven with your own small gestures. Each time you reach toward someone, with a word, a touch, a gift, or even a silent hope, you did something similar. You extended yourself into the unknown, without guarantees. In this quiet moment, lying still, you can feel the softness of that courage. Not the sharp, blazing courage of battle or performance, the quiet, enduring courage of sending a message and not knowing who, or when, or if they will answer. Voyager's journey is one long act of that kind of courage. It keeps travelling long after many who built it have grown older, or gone. It keeps carrying the record long after its makers have set it free. The question wrapped in starlight, the one that hovers over the craft and over you, is simple and deep. What are we to the universe, and what is the universe to us? We send out a tiny, fragile artifact filled with our music and math and images. We stand on our world and look upward, listening for the faint echo of our own voice among the stars. We breathe in the night air and feel, without words, that we are part of something wider. Let that feeling spread through you now, as gently as a warm drink moving through your chest. You are small, yes, but you're also connected to a story with no clear edges. A story that includes stars and winds and questions that glow in the dark. Your body grows heavier, your heart quieter. Your mind, though still awake, is content to float, to follow the slow motion of the golden disk as it turns. Starlight glances off its surface, catching etched lines that no one is reading tonight. The room around you is a cocoon of shadow and soft air. The universe around Voyager is a cocoon of thin plasma and scattered particles. In both places, there is space for resting, for drifting, for quiet wonder. As your breath continues its steady rhythm, you can imagine the record rotating very slowly, alone and not alone, its grooves holding stories that may never be heard, yet still existing as bright potential in the dark. And somewhere in that image, in the slow, silent spin of a golden circle under distant stars, a quiet shimmer remains, like a whispered promise that this small message will keep turning in the starlight, patiently waiting for a story to be heard. The thought of that golden shimmer fades into a softer glow, the way a lantern dims when it is carried farther down a quiet path. And from that slow dimming, another image rises, Voyager drifting deeper into the long breath of the sun. The drift is gentle, unhurried, almost like the pause between two heartbeats. You rest in that pause now. Your breath flows in, cool and smooth, then out again, warm and slow. The muscles around your ribs release a little more, as if the air inside you is melting into a wider atmosphere. Above you, the idea of the solar wind begins to unfold, but softly, not as a blast or a storm, but as a river of very small particles wandering outward from the sun. These particles leave the star at enormous speed, faster than anything you feel on Earth. Yet in this story they move with calm, slowed by distance and imagination. Picture them not as darts of energy, but as pale ribbons floating past a window. They curve and twist through space, shaped by invisible lines, drifting around Voyager with a grace that belongs to things too small and too numerous to count. The spacecraft feels these ribbons as the faintest pressure, a touch lighter than a whisper. Its metal warms slightly in the sunlight that still reaches it, though the warmth is thin now, stretched across billions of kilometers. If you could place your hand against its surface, it would feel cool, not freezing, but cool like stone in the shade at sunset. Here in your room, you can feel a different kind of coolness. The night air touches your cheeks, your forehead, the tip of your nose. Your body responds with its own warmth, holding steady beneath the covers, a small world of gentle heat. As your attention drifts between the coolness of space and the warmth of your body, something quiet settles inside you, a sense of balance, of being held between two temperatures, two realms, two motions, one cosmic, one human. Voyager continues through that wide unseen wind, and you float with it, just behind its dish, as though your awareness is tucked into the shadow it casts in the starlight. The stars ahead are sharp points, unblinking, scattered like frost across black glass. The sun behind is a tiny bright bead, glowing in a sea of dark. The solar wind still flows around the craft, but thinner now. Each million kilometers, the wind stretches further, losing density, losing strength. Eventually it grows so delicate that even a single breath in your room contains more particles than an entire stadium's volume of space around Voyager. Let that comparison drift through you, not as numbers, not as calculation, but as a soft impression. Space becomes quieter, emptier as the craft moves outward. What remains is a kind of cosmic hush, a stillness that feels old and deep. Your own stillness deepens with it. The muscles behind your eyes relax, your jaw softens, your breath falls into an even slower rhythm, each inhale a small rising tide, each exhale a long gentle receding. As the solar wind fades, Voyager approaches the heliosphere's edge, a vast bubble created by the sun's breath. Imagine this bubble not as a hard shell but as a glowing cocoon, enormous and luminous in the dark. It stretches far beyond every planet, a quiet sphere of influence surrounding the star that gave us warmth and light. Inside this cocoon, the solar wind dominates. Outside, the galaxy waits with its own winds, its own particles, its own rhythms. Some describe the heliosphere's edge as a boundary, but tonight it feels more like a meeting place. Two breaths touching, one from the sun, warm and familiar, one from the galaxy, cool and ancient. You can imagine this place as a faint, shimmering veil, not a wall, not a barrier, but a thin layer where two vast motions press gently against one another. Voyager approaches this veil slowly. Its path is steady, like a leaf drifting across the surface of a long, dark lake. As it nears the heliopause, the particles around it begin to change. The solar wind weakens, the galactic wind grows, cosmic rays increase, murmuring softly through its instruments. You do not need to follow these changes analytically. Only imagine the environment around the craft shifting tone, like a symphony moving from one quiet movement to another. The rhythm of the solar system fades, and the rhythm of the galaxy begins. Your own inner rhythm shifts with this. Breath slows, thoughts lengthen. Even your heartbeat may feel quieter now, softer in the chest, as if listening to the same widening silence that Voyager enters. You can picture the heliopause now, if you wish, as a thin boundary painted in pale light. Not bright, not glowing with colour, but luminous in the way moonlit fog is luminous, more felt than seen. Voyager drifts toward it, passing through the last faint streamers of the sun's breath. In your mind, you might reach out a hand toward that boundary. Feel the difference in the air, though there is no air. Feel the shift in sensation, as though the silence becomes deeper on the other side. A silence so wide it feels like an ocean that has never known storms. The spacecraft crosses this unseen threshold. No sound marks the moment, no light flashes. There is only measurement, a change in particle density, a rise in cosmic rays, a shift in magnetic field direction. Yet, beneath the science, there is a feeling, a sense of stepping onto new ground, even if that ground is made of nothing but thin, ancient space. Voyager is still held by the sun's gravity. That pull continues far beyond the heliopause, but the environment around it has changed. You too have felt such thresholds. The moment when a familiar chapter of life closes quietly. Not with a loud ending, but with a soft shift. A room that feels different when you enter it. A morning that feels like it belongs to a new season. A breath that carries a new kind of calm. Let your next exhale fall through you with that same sense of transition. Long, slow, easing through the body like a wave spreading over sand. Notice how your shoulders drop another fraction of an inch. Notice how your stomach softens, how your legs grow heavier. The heliopause becomes a mirror of your own boundary between wakefulness and drifting consciousness. One world thinning, another beginning. Both gentle, both patient. Beyond the heliopause lies interstellar space, not empty, but filled with thin, ancient material, atoms from distant stars, particles from long-ago explosions, strands of magnetic fields stretched across light years. Imagine these atoms drifting around Voyager now. One hydrogen atom might wait for centuries before meeting another. Yet they still travel, still move, still belong to the quiet river of the galaxy. You belong to a river too, the slow river of breath that carries you toward rest. Its current is soft but steady, guiding you into a deeper calm. Each inhale lifts you slightly, each exhale lays you down again. In the vastness around Voyager, starlight travels freely. It touches the craft from every direction, though faintly. The sun is now just one star among many, no longer dominating the sky. You can imagine how the light feels on the spacecraft, thin, cold, almost ghostly. Yet even this faint light glints on the golden record, reminding the universe that the craft carries something precious. As you picture this faint glint, your own inner light softens to match it. Your thoughts grow quieter, dimming just enough to let your imagination breathe. You may feel a gentle warmth in your chest, or the sense of sinking a little deeper into the bed. Voyager moves further into this interstellar environment, and you drift with it. The stars ahead appear motionless, but the craft is travelling faster than any human could ever walk, run, or fly without machines. Yet in this dreamlike space its speed feels slow, peaceful, like a boat drifting down a calm river at dusk. The solar system behind grows smaller, not in size, but in influence. The sun is still a compass, still the anchor of Voyager's orbit, but its winds no longer shape the environment. The galaxy shapes it now, the wider, older breath of the Milky Way, a breath made of stories written in the remnants of ancient stars. Your breath matches this wider rhythm, slowing again, deepening again. Inhale, exhale, long, long exhale. Let yourself rest in the same stillness that Voyager encounters, not pushing into the unknown, not striving, only drifting with quiet curiosity. You might imagine the craft from a perspective far away, a tiny silhouette against a vast black sea, barely a speck, barely a shadow, yet carrying purpose, carrying memory. And as you watch it drift, you sense something widening inside you, a feeling that you too are part of a story older than your days. A story written in winds and particles, in breath and thought, in light that has travelled across time. Allow that sense to settle in your heart, not as an idea, but as a warm quietness beneath the ribs, a quietness that holds you, the way darkness holds stars. The heliopause is behind Voyager now. Interstellar space stretches ahead, calm and dark. The craft glides forward, steady, unhurried, a small metal seed planted in the vast soil of the galaxy. You drift with it, weightless in imagination, heavy in the comfort of your bed. Breath slow, muscles loose, thoughts soft and glowing like distant lanterns. And in this shared movement, you sinking into deeper rest, Voyager sinking into deeper space, a gentle insight forms. That boundaries are often softer than they seem, that transitions can be slow, tender, nearly invisible. Voyager crosses one such boundary now, and you cross another. The world around you grows quieter, your thoughts dim like embers, your awareness stretches outward, toward a cosmic calm older than the sun. And as you drift in that widening quiet, you sense the faint shape of a threshold dissolving behind you, as if Voyager's path and your own have both crossed a line drawn long before stars learn to shine. The threshold dissolves behind you like mist thinning in early light, and from the quiet beyond it, another presence begins to glow. Not a star, not a planet, but something far smaller and somehow warmer, a circle of gold resting on the side of a small, wandering craft. You drift closer, as if drawn by a gentle current through the dark. The golden record waits there, held in place by brackets and memory. It does not shine brightly. The starlight is too faint for that. yet it carries a soft warmth in the imagination, like a candle protected by cupped hands. Your awareness hovers beside it, and the cold around you seems to pause in respect. Breathe slowly, letting your inhale widen the chest, letting the exhale melt through every muscle. As the breath moves, the record seems to glow a little more clearly, as if illuminated from within by the stories etched into it. Stories not meant to dazzle, but to endure. You can imagine its surface now, smooth, circular, lightly brushed with the faint marks of micrometeor dust. Its golden face holds grooves that spiral inward, each ridge a tiny canyon carved with care. These grooves are not just patterns, they are memories pressed into metal. Picture a fingertip tracing those lines. Cool at first, then warmer as the imagined touch lingers. Every ridge holds a vibration, a voice, a song, a heartbeat captured in a tiny valley of gold. Your own heartbeat rises softly in your chest as you think of this. It moves with a slow, steady rhythm, a quiet drum anchoring you to your body as your thoughts drift outward into the cosmos. There is kinship in that rhythm, between you and Voyager, between you and the sounds sealed into this disk. A breath in, a long warm breath out. Your shoulders loosen further, as if the weight of your day is sliding gently off and settling into the mattress beneath you. The golden record holds many sounds. Rain falling, waves breaking, birds calling, a mother's kiss on her child's cheek, greetings in dozens of languages. Not a list, not a catalogue, but a chorus of Earth's softest truths. They rest together in a harmony that tries in its patient way to say, "This is who we were when we reached out to meet the dark." You can imagine the rain most clearly. Gentle at first, tapping on leaves, then gathering into a soothing rhythm on rooftops and rivers. That rhythm is slow, calming, the same tempo your breath finds now as you drift deeper into stillness. The laughter on the record is light and bright, like sunlight flickering on water. Not sharp, not startling, just soft human joy carried across time and space. You might feel a faint smile tug at the corner of your mouth as you imagine it. And then there are the heartbeats, real human heartbeats, recorded and preserved in metal, steady, reassuring, like soft footsteps on a wooden floor in a quiet home. Feel your own heartbeat again, echoing that rhythm. You are connected to those ancient recordings not by technology, but by being alive, by sharing the same rise and fall of breath, the same tender pulse within. Now imagine the greetings included on the record, voices from around the world speaking different languages, but sharing one warm intention: welcome. The tones are gentle, some bright, some soft, some whispered, as if each speaker knew the message would travel for ages before being heard. A greeting is a small gift, even whispered, even brief. It carries warmth forward into the unknown. The record is filled with such gifts. Your breath flows through you again. The air feels deeper somehow, softer at the edges. Each inhale brings a sense of open space, each exhale a quiet settling. The designs etched on the record's cover tell a story in diagrams. A map of pulsars, spinning remnants of ancient stars, arranged like landmarks pointing back toward Earth. The hydrogen atom, drawn in its simplest form, offering a universal key to understanding the scale of time carved into the disk. These symbols are gentle guides, not commands, not warnings, but invitations. They say, if you find this and you can read its language, then we hope to meet you across the ages. You might picture an unknown intelligence tracing those markings with cautious curiosity. Not a creature with hands necessarily, perhaps something with tendrils of light or fields of magnetism or senses we cannot imagine. It studies the grooves, sensing intention, feeling the quiet kindness encoded there. Your chest rises again and falls. Your eyelids feel heavier now, drifting toward the softness of sleep, but still aware enough to follow the whisper of the story. The record contains images too, etched instructions on how to decode them, but in this dreamlike drift, you can imagine the images gently appearing as warm silhouettes, a newborn held against a parent's chest, mountains folded in snow, a dancer mid-motion, arms extended like wings, the spiral of DNA, its gentle curve reflecting the swirl of a galaxy. These images exist in your imagination without the need for technical detail. They float there, warm as lantern light, drifting across your inner vision. You may picture a hand touching a river, feeling the cold water flow through the fingers, or a field of tall grass bending in the wind, or the golden glow of a sunset on a wide horizon. Each image is a message. We came from a place with warmth, a place with air that brushed our skin, with water that cooled us, with light that painted our world in gold and blue. You might feel the faintest warmth along your arms as you imagine this, a memory of sunlight, even if the room you lie in is dim. Music rides the record's grooves too, flutes, drums, humming voices, strings trembling with quiet fire. Some pieces rise like birds at dawn, others drift like smoke curling over evening water. You do not need to hear them distinctly. Their emotional echoes are enough, songs of longing, of joy, of mystery, of home. You have known such feelings. Your own life has carried moments of brightness and shadow, movement and rest. You can feel those memories settling gently now, without burden, without weight. The Golden Record is not a monument. It is not a perfect portrait of humanity. It is a gesture, small, sincere, hopeful, a hand extended into the night, offering the simplest truth. We lived, we felt, we wanted to share a little of our light. Voyager carries that truth deeper into the galaxy than any other artifact we have ever sent. Not because we expect an answer, but because sharing is part of who we are. Let your breath drift with that insight. Slow inhale, soft exhale. A deeper quiet forms inside you, like a wide, dark lake settling at dusk. The record's glow fades as Voyager moves, not completely but gently, as if wrapped in the shadows of a great unfolding night. Your thoughts move with it, step by step, breath by breath. The mind eases into a softer pace. You can feel it now, that slow transition from curiosity into awe, the shift in energy, like the dimming of lights before a symphony begins. Your awareness expands outward, but your body sinks further into rest. The galaxy around Voyager stretches. Its stars are tiny, patient fires burning across unimaginable distances. Their light falls on the golden disk, on the craft's metal frame, on the silent trail it carves through the dark. Each star is a witness. Each star keeps watch as the small messenger moves, carrying its fragile cargo of songs and greetings. And as you watch it drift, you realize something gentle. The messages on the record are not only for distant beings, they are also for us. For anyone who pauses long enough to notice that humanity once made a gift for the unknown. You lie there now, breathing softly, listening inwardly. Your own life, your own memories, your own quiet hopes. They are messages too, carried in your breath, your pulse, your presence. Voyager drifts onward, and your mind drifts with it. The golden record gleams faintly, then softly dims into the surrounding starlight, and in that dimness a last image lingers, a circle of gold turning like a slow heartbeat, sending its quiet hum into the dark, a message still travelling, still shining at the edge of the unknown. The golden hum drifts away like a lantern carried into fog, and from that soft fading, the darkness around Voyager grows wider, cooler, quieter. You feel that widening inside yourself as well, not a stretch, not a tension, but a gentle opening, as though your inner night is making room for something vast and slow to unfold. Your breath moves in a long, easy tide. Inhale, a soft rise beneath your ribs. Exhale, a warm release sinking through your belly, your legs, the mattress beneath you. With each breath, the body becomes heavier, more grounded, while the mind floats lightly, following Voyager deeper into the dark. Out here, beyond the sun's bright cradle, the interstellar medium waits, a vast ocean so thin, so ancient, so calm, that even time seems to slow its steps. You drift into that ocean beside the spacecraft, weightless in imagination, warm in your own stillness. At first, the darkness seems complete, a single, endless canvas of black. But slowly, as your senses settle into the rhythm, faint patterns begin to appear, as they always do when the mind grows quiet enough to see them. There are stars, of course. Millions scattered across the sky like frost caught in a stray beam of light. Some bright, some faint, some close, some older than the continents beneath your bed. But there is more than stars here. Thin clouds of gas drift like pale curtains, stretched across light years. They are almost invisible, illuminated only when a distant star's glow brushes their edges. Hydrogen, helium, dust, remnants of ancient suns exhaled into the galaxy. Your breath mirrors that exhale, slow, soft, endlessly patient. Voyager moves through this gentle haze, though the haze is so thin it would feel thinner than the emptiest vacuum we can create on Earth. A single breath you take now contains more atoms than an entire volume of interstellar space the size of a house. Yet here in the dark, this nearly emptiness becomes something beautiful. A quiet sea where nothing rushes, where everything drifts. Let your mind drift too without direction. Thoughts rise, linger, fade, each one lighter than the last. You can picture the interstellar medium as a slow river, not rushing, not churning, but flowing softly around Voyager. Magnetic fields thread through it like long, faint strands of silk. Cosmic rays flicker through it, like sparks from a distant fire carried on a cold wind. The spacecraft glides through all of it, not fighting the current, not steering sharply, only continuing its long, steady arc around the galaxy's centre. The galaxy itself becomes a distant presence in your awareness, as though the great spiral of starlight is turning somewhere behind your closed eyes. Imagine its arms, long, swirling trails of dust and fire, each one like a river of stars drifting through an ocean of dark. Voyager is a tiny leaf on that river, carried by its grand, slow motion. You lie still, carried by your breath. There is a softness in that shared movement, a reassurance that you do not always need to push, or pull, or decide. Sometimes drifting is enough. Sometimes drifting is the purest way to move forward. The temperature of your imagination cools slightly as you sink further into this cosmic sea. You can feel that coolness along your arms, your cheeks, the back of your neck. Not cold, just fresh, like the air before dawn. Voyager's instruments continue to read this quiet world, The density of particles, the shape of magnetic fields, the faint tremble of cosmic rays passing through. Each measurement is like a whisper from the galaxy itself, soft clues about the space between stars, the space we will never touch, but can still know through this tiny traveller. Your breath continues its slow cadence. Inhale, exhale. A little slower now. The stars around Voyager shine without flicker. There is no atmosphere to distort them, no clouds to blur their edges. Each one is a sharp pinprick of light, ancient and steady. From where you drift in imagination, the stars look almost alive. You can sense their warmth even across trillions of kilometers. Not heat you can feel on the skin, but warmth that touches the mind. A reminder of fire, of life, of home. Voyager moves through these faint star winds, carried forward by inertia, by the momentum gifted to it decades ago. No engines fire now. No course corrections pulse. Only the gentle continuation of a journey set in motion long before this night, long before this breath. You have motions like that within you, habits, memories, hopes that travel with you silently through the years. Some are gentle currents, shaping your days without effort. Some are tides that bring you back to yourself when the world grows loud. Tonight, as you rest, those currents soften. Your thoughts drift like the dust in interstellar space, sparse, slow, illuminated only by faint inner light. Ahead of Voyager, the magnetic fields of the galaxy stretch and twist. They are not visible to the eye, but you can imagine them as long, flowing ribbons of energy, weaving through the dark. The spacecraft moves through them like a leaf gliding through unseen currents, gently guided by forces that rarely meet human senses. Your fingers might twitch slightly as you picture those ribbons, long, soft, drifting lines. Then the stillness returns, heavier, sweeter, like a blanket settling over your skin. The soundscape out here is silence, pure and complete. But sometimes silence carries its own music, the music of steadiness, of endurance, of deep time. Voyager has travelled for more than 40 years, through radiation, dust storms near Jupiter, the vast emptiness beyond Saturn. Now it moves through a region where stars are distant neighbours, and time seems to pool like water in a still lagoon. You can imagine the craft's long shadow stretching across the dark. Not a literal shadow, there is not enough light, but a metaphorical one, a presence that marks where humanity has reached. Your presence in this moment feels similar. A soft impression pressed into the quiet of your room, the shape of your breath, the warmth of your body, the subtle field of awareness around your thoughts. Everything drifts, everything belongs. As Voyager travels further, the galaxy becomes its compass. The sun behind it is just one spark among many. Ahead, the spiral arms swirl, bright and endless. Imagine drifting through those arms, floating through slow rivers of starlight and dust. The rivers curve gently, like the inside of a giant seashell. They glow faintly, like distant candles behind thin curtains. You and the spacecraft move together through this imagined light, both slowing, both sinking into deeper calm. There is no urgency here, no schedules, no expectations, only the long, slow unfolding of space. Your breath mirrors that unfolding, a little deeper now, a little slower, a little warmer in your chest. If you listen inwardly, you may sense your heartbeat growing softer, more rhythmic, not disappearing, but settling, like a drum played far more gently, its sound becoming part of the background rather than the focus. The galaxy feels close again, like a great quiet tide rising around you. Voyager drifts through it, and you drift through your own internal sea, both moving with grace neither of you needs to control. The stars ahead seem to pulse very faintly, not because they are changing, but because your mind touches them like fingertips brushing water. Warm pulse, cool pulse, light pulse, a rhythm older than memory. Let yourself imagine falling into that rhythm, being carried by it, belonging to it. The emptiness around Voyager is not lonely. It is spacious, soft, welcoming in its vastness, like a wide, quiet room with open windows lit only by moonlight. You can rest in such a space without needing to fill it. You can breathe there without effort. You can drift without fear of drifting too far. Voyager feels no weight here. Its metal frame does not sag. Its instruments do not strain. Everything moves slowly enough for even time to sigh. Your own body moves toward that same relaxation. Heavier limbs, loose shoulders, a spine settling into the mattress like a stone sinking gently into warm sand. The thought that rises next does so gently, as if respecting the silence. Even emptiness has structure. Even darkness has form. And even the quietest traveller can leave a wake behind it, shaping the space it moves through. You shape the quiet around you now, your breath, your warmth, your stillness. You soften the air, you calm the darkness. You become part of the quiet that holds you. Voyager continues floating, steady and slow, through subtle rivers of magnetic force, through thin clouds of dust, through a realm where distances lose meaning and everything feels like a soft, continuous drift. Your thoughts follow, but more slowly now. They appear like stars behind clouds, faint, shimmering, gentle. They dissolve just as quietly, leaving only the feeling of the vast, unseen current beneath them. The galaxy moves around the spacecraft in a slow swirl, turning with such patience that its motion feels like eternity breathing. And in that breath, your own breath settles again, as if syncing with the deeper rhythm of the cosmos. Inhale, a quiet widening. Exhale, a soft descent. The rivers of the galaxy keep flowing, ancient and invisible, and you drift with Voyager through that cosmic hush, feeling the stars above you and within you drift like slow snowfall waiting to be felt rather than understood. The slow snowfall of stars settles in your awareness, drifting lightly until it fades into a darker, quieter space. And from that deep quiet, a new sensation rises, not outward, not toward the distant galaxy, but inward, toward the soft center of your own stillness. Voyager moves through interstellar space, and you move through the space within yourself, both journeys shaped by silence. Your breath thins into a gentler rhythm. Each inhale feels like a soft opening. Each exhale feels like a door easing closed with barely a sound. You sink deeper into the mattress, deeper into yourself. Out there, the interstellar medium stretches in every direction, sparse, cool, ancient. Inside you, another kind of space stretches, the quiet chambers of thought and memory, drifting in their own slow currents. Voyager continues through the dark, and the dark becomes a mirror. Not a bright one, not harsh or reflective, but a soft mirror made of shadow and feeling. A mirror that reveals your inner landscape the way moonlight reveals a calm lake, gently, without disturbance. You float near that mirror, letting images rise without effort. Perhaps you see the faint outline of the spacecraft gliding past, its dish turned back toward the sun. Perhaps you see the glow of the golden record, dim and warm. Perhaps you see only darkness, and in that darkness a sense of peace. Voyager turns slowly as it travels, its spin creating a gentle balance and motion. That slow rotation feels like a heartbeat, steady, unhurried. Your own body responds, settling into its own steady rhythm. Thoughts begin to loosen. The edges soften. Memories drift upward, not sharply, not brightly, but like distant lights reflected in deep water. They come without urgency. They come without demand. They simply float. Voyager carries memories too, not its own, but ours. Images, sounds, greetings. Yet it carries them without weight, without expectation, only as a gift. You too carry memories that drift lightly now. Moments from childhood, faces you have known, places where your heart felt calm. They rise and fall inside you like slow waves, never pressing, never pulling. Your breath deepens slightly, spreading warmth along your ribs. The muscles in your back release. Your legs feel as though they are melting into the bed beneath you. In this soft inward space, you notice the faint hum that has been with you all along, the quiet vibration of being alive. It might be your heartbeat. It might be the subtle movement of air in and out of your lungs. It might be a calm awareness resting in your chest like a warm ember. Voyager 2 carries a faint hum. Its radio transmitter, weak as a whisper lost in a canyon, still sends signals home. Those signals travel across billions of kilometers, weakened by distance until they are fainter than the light of a single candle glimpsed from the moon. Yet they reach us. The metaphor settles over you like a blanket. Even the faintest signal can travel far. Even the quietest part of you can still reach the mind's surface. Still offer comfort, still carry meaning. Your thoughts soften further. You do not chase them now. You let them flow, like dust drifting through a beam of dim light. Voyager's endurance becomes your metaphor. For decades, it has travelled outward, through storms of radiation, through vast emptiness, through the dissolving boundaries of the heliosphere. It has kept moving, kept sending, kept listening. You have endured too, in your own ways, through your own storms, through your own seasons of quiet and change. You feel that truth now, gently, without judgment. It settles in your chest like a warm stone placed by steady hands. The darkness around Voyager is perfect. No atmosphere to scatter starlight, no clouds to blur the edges, just the clean, deep absence of light. The darkness behind your closed eyes is different, yet similar. Not empty, not blank, but full of soft, shifting impressions. Colours that are not colours, shapes that are not shapes, thoughts dissolving before they form. Darkness becomes a place of rest, a place where the mind need not define, or categorize, or control. It only needs to float. Voyager drifts onward, and in its wake the stars shine like calm embers scattered across the galaxy. Your awareness drifts inward, and in its wake your thoughts become soft ripples fading on a lake at dusk. In this deep quiet, the boundary between outer space and inner space feels thinner. The vastness outside becomes a reflection of the vastness inside, and you realize, without needing words, that both are part of the same story. A slow exhale leaves your body, warm, long, soothing. The muscles in your face relax, especially around the eyes and mouth, places where tension likes to hide. They soften like snow melting on warm stone. The thought rises. Quiet can be a kind of light. It glows through you, calm and steady, not bright, not sharp, but warm, illuminating your inner world in a way that feels tender and safe. Voyager moves through the galaxy, carrying messages for unknown beings. You move through your inner night, carrying messages for yourself, small truths, soft insights, gentle reminders that surface only when the world grows quiet. Your body is heavy now, pleasantly weighted. Your breath is slow, almost tidal. Your mind is a dimly lit room where everything glows with soft edges. The mirror of the dark shows you not what you fear, but what rests beneath all fear. A deep, steady presence. A quiet that belongs to you. A stillness that asks for nothing but breath. You drift in that stillness. Thoughts are distant lanterns on a far shore. Emotions are soft currents beneath the surface. Your awareness is the lake itself, wide, calm, patient. Voyager glides on through the interstellar medium. Its path is long, but it never rushes. Its journey is vast, but it does not strain. Your resting body reflects that motion. You release more tension. You settle more deeply. Your mind lets go, not abruptly, but in soft layers, peeling away like petals falling in slow motion. You sense a glow growing inside you. Not energy, not effort, but simple warmth. The warmth of being alive in this moment. The warmth of existing quietly in a wide universe. Voyager is a mirror, not because it reflects your image, but because it reflects your journey. Your persistence, your gentleness, your capacity to drift and still remain whole. As the spacecraft turns slowly in the dark, its dish catching faint starlight, your awareness turns gently inward, catching a faint shimmer of your own inner truth. You're part of this quiet, part of this night, part of this unfolding story of endurance and wonder. The mirror of the dark softens again, closing slightly, like eyelids lowering over tired eyes. Within that soft closure, one final image lingers, a small glow in boundless black, reminding you that quiet can indeed be a kind of light. The soft glow within you fades into an even gentler hue, like embers settling beneath a blanket of ash. And from that dimming warmth, a deeper quiet rises, a quiet so smooth and wide that it feels like a tide spreading across your entire awareness. Voyager moves into that same quiet, its instruments humming faintly, its energy slowly easing toward rest. Your breath follows. Inhale, a small lift. Exhale, a long drifting release. Slower now, softer, as though your lungs have learned the rhythm of deep space. Out there, darkness presses gently around the spacecraft, not with force, but with stillness. Its nuclear generators, once warm with the confident heat of early flight, now glow more faintly. Each year their warmth lowers by a few degrees, like a lamp fading as the oil burns low. And yet, the dimming does not feel sad. It feels natural, inevitable, a quiet honouring of age, of distance, of time's soft hand. You feel that softness in your own body too, a loosening in your shoulders, a heaviness settling in your hips, a slow pooling of warmth in your chest. Voyager's power wanes so gradually it's almost like watching dusk fall over a landscape. The bright colours fade first, then the shadows lengthen. Finally the world eases into a peaceful blue-grey quiet. You're easing into such a twilight now. Not sleep, not yet, but the gentle dimming just before sleep, when the boundary between the mind and the night begins to soften. Imagine the spacecraft's small lights glowing in the dark. Not brilliant, not sharp, but warm like distant candles behind frosted glass. They pulse faintly, steady and slow, as Voyager conserves energy, preserving just enough to whisper to the distant Earth. Those whispers travel through a silence so immense it has no comparison on Earth. Billions of kilometres of quiet. No wind, no rustle, no echo. Yet the whispers move through it anyway. crossing space like messages written on beams of starlight. You lie in your room, surrounded by a smaller quiet, yet it feels just as deep now, the kind of stillness that gathers in the corners and beneath the bed, in the folds of blankets, in the air just above your skin. Feel that quiet settle. Feel it ease through your spine. Feel it soften the muscles at the base of your neck. Voyager's thermoelectric generators cool a little more each passing year. A scientific anchor, a gentle truth. The decay of its radioactive source produces less heat, and in turn less energy. But in this story, that slow fading is not an end. It is a slowing heartbeat, a body finding its natural pace as the journey lengthens. Your own heartbeat matches that rhythm now, steady and low. Your breath brushes softly against the inside of your ribs, a whisper in its own right. The spacecraft's instruments begin to turn off, one by one, like lights in a house at the end of a long evening. First the brighter ones, then the smaller ones, each switch a soft step into deeper quiet. Imagine listening from far away, from Earth, and noticing that the signals grow weaker, softer, more stretched by distance, yet still present, still faithful. You have known this feeling too, the slow dimming of effort as night falls, the body asking not for more motion but for surrender, the mind loosening its grip on the day. Let that sensation deepen, let it feel like sinking into warm sand, or into a deep pool that holds you without letting you fall. Voyager drifts onward without need of engines. Its momentum carries it, smooth and steady, like a feather gliding on a slow breeze. It moves through the dark not with purpose but with presence. You can move like that too, not through space, but through your own inner twilight, gliding from thought to feeling to quiet, without needing to push in any direction. The air in your room feels different now, thicker perhaps, warmer, closer to your skin, as if the night itself is leaning in to cradle you. Picture again the faint glow of Voyager's systems, a soft blue number flickering, a quiet red indicator pulsing at long intervals, not signals of urgency, but of endurance. The spacecraft is tired, but not fragile. It is calm in its exhaustion. It is old, but ageless in its purpose. The metal that forms its body has been cold for decades, yet it has never been more serene, never more at peace with the vastness around it. You can feel that peace seep into your own bones, a gentle cooling of thought, a soft stretching of the boundaries of awareness. Out in the interstellar dark, particles drift past the spacecraft like slow-moving snow. Rare, faint, invisible, but always there. They brush Voyager's frame in silence, a cosmic lullaby older than any human story. Let that image brush your mind. A small craft floating in a sea of quiet motion, touched by dust that has travelled since before Earth's first forest grew. There is no rush here, no goal, no arrival, only journey. You breathe into that truth. Your body grows heavier, your hands grow warm, your eyelids drift downward, even if they were already closed. Voyager's path is long enough to outlive nations, civilizations, perhaps even species. Yet in this moment, its journey feels intimate, gentle, close, a friend drifting beside you, a companion in the long quiet. The deeper it moves into the interstellar sea, the more it belongs to the dark, and you, sinking into deeper rest, belong to this stillness. Breath flows, time slows, thought fades. Imagine now that the spacecraft's energy drops slightly again, so slightly you can barely sense it, like a sigh leaving a tired body. This does not end its journey. it simply softens it. You have sighed like that when the day was long, when your muscles loosened in relief, when the world finally gave you permission to rest. That sigh is in your body now, in the space behind your sternum, in the warmth behind your closed eyes. The night within you deepens. The edges of your consciousness blur, dissolving like ink in water. Voyager drifts further still, a small silhouette against an ocean of black. Its glow is dim but steady. Its presence is quiet but constant. There is beauty in that steadiness, in its refusal to hurry, in its trust in the path laid out long before. You can trust this moment too. Nothing is required. Nothing is missing. You're held by the bed beneath you, by the slow rhythm of your lungs, by the dark that wraps gently around you. As the spacecraft dims, the stars around it grow brighter, not because they change, but because the contrast deepens, a familiar truth in both the cosmos and the mind. When your inner noise softens, your inner light becomes easier to see. Your thoughts slow until they barely form at all. The story becomes sensation. Sensation becomes feeling. Feeling becomes quiet. Voyager glides on, its voyage becoming more like dreaming than travelling. And you drift on too, resting in a night that feels softer with each breath. The darkness around you now feels like velvet, dense, warm, inviting, settling beneath a falling feather, slow and silent, shaping itself to your stillness. The feather-soft darkness beneath you settles even further, and from that velvet quiet, a new texture of stillness begins to form, thinner, more delicate, almost like light seen through closed eyelids. Voyager drifts into this same softened realm, where motion becomes memory, and time stretches into long, unbroken breaths. You remain still in your bed, wrapped in your own warmth. Your breath continues its slow tide, in soft as dusk, out long as nightfall. Every exhale seems to dim the room a little more, as if each breath lowers the lantern of your awareness another gentle step. Far beyond Earth, Voyager now travels into a future without boundary, not tomorrow, not next year, but the quiet expanse of billions of years, where the galaxy turns like a slow dream unfolding. The spacecraft does not hurry. It has no need. Its journey is measured not in destinations, but in drifting, in persistence, in the steady arc of motion through the deep dark. You feel that same drifting now, inside your body. Not movement, but the sensation of being carried, gently, effortlessly, by the quiet itself. Out here, the stars grow fewer, or perhaps they only seem fewer because the dark has grown so wide. Yet each star that remains shines with an ancient, unwavering calm, as though placed to mark the path of endless wandering. Their light touches Voyager faintly. A thin glimmer slides along the rim of the golden record, catching in the grooves like dew on a leaf at dawn. That glimmer is not bright, but it is patient, like an ember refusing to fade. Your imagination rises toward that glimmer, hovering beside the small craft. You feel no coldness, even though space is near absolute zero. You feel only a smooth, cool quiet, the quiet of something that has travelled so long it has learned to rest while moving. Your breath matches that quiet. Inhale, soft. Exhale, even softer, melting down through your chest. The boundaries of the solar system are far behind now, blurred like a distant memory. Ahead lies only more time, more dark, more gentle starlight drifting like pale dust through endless corridors. the galaxy becomes a soft presence, not a place, a warm, swirling backdrop around the spacecraft's small silhouette. Its spiral arms curve like slow ripples in a vast pond. Its centre glows faintly somewhere far away, a distant ember in an ocean of night. As you picture this, your own inner world begins to glow with a similar faintness, not bright enough to stir thought, but enough to warm the places just behind your ribs, just behind your closed eyes. Voyager has no destination. Its path is not a line drawn on a map. It is a drifting story, one that continues simply because nothing stops it. The same is true of memory. It drifts, it continues, it softens as time stretches. And tonight, your memories settle like dust in the corners of your mind. Gentle, quiet, unurgent. They do not ask to be examined. They simply glow, warm and small, like faraway stars seen from a slow-turning boat. Imagine the spacecraft 1,000,000 years from now, still moving, still turning, still carrying the record, a metal heartbeat humming with the songs of a world long gone. Imagine it 10,000,000 years from now, still gliding through the dark, still warmed by faint starlight, still holding its delicate cargo. Now imagine it 1,000,000,000 years from now, drifting into regions where the stars thin and the night deepens into something almost velvety. It does not know loneliness, it simply moves, and you drift with it, your awareness sliding through time, through soft layers of quiet that grow warmer with each breath. Starlight becomes memory. Memory becomes feeling. Feeling becomes rest. Tiny particles continue to brush against Voyager, one every so often, like the faintest tap of a fingertip on a window pane. Barely felt, barely real, yet each touch a reminder that even emptiness contains traces of motion. Your own mind contains traces too, the drifting impressions that float at the edge of sleep, a flash of colour, a curl of thought, a half-formed image that dissolves before you can name it. Let them dissolve, let them drift. They belong to this phase of quiet, where thought loosens and becomes almost like light itself. Voyager will one day circle the galaxy many times. Its orbit will carry it through the spiral arms, past clusters of newborn stars, through thin regions where only a few grains of dust drift for centuries before touching anything. This journey is slow but never stagnant. It is the pace of mountains rising and falling, the pace of stars forming, shining, dimming, the pace of galaxies breathing. Your body responds to that pace. Your breath slows until it is nearly soundless. Your limbs grow warm and heavy, as if gravity has gently increased by a single, comforting degree. There is no rush to sleep. Sleep comes when the mind and body drift into the same rhythm, when breath becomes tide, when thought becomes lantern light flickering in a deep, dark hall. Voyager is in that rhythm now. It has been in it for decades. It will remain in it until its systems cool beyond function, until even its radio whispers fall silent. But silence is not an end. In this vast cosmic ocean, silence is simply another kind of presence, one that carries the memory of all that came before, and within that silence the golden record continues to wait. Its grooves remain sharp, even after ages of drifting. Its message remains intact, a small bright imprint of Earth and all who lived upon it. You can imagine that record now as a soft glow floating through darkness. No urgency, no fear, only the patient turning of a story waiting to be found. Even if no one ever discovers it, the gesture remains, the reaching outward. The act of saying, "We were here, and we wanted to share our light." You breathe in, you breathe out. A soft echo of that gesture moves through your chest with each breath. There is comfort in the idea that our stories can outlast us, not through fame or monuments, but through small, sincere offerings carried gently into the unknown. Voyager carries one of those offerings. You carry your own. In your memories, your kindness, your quiet presence in this moment. The spacecraft drifts further, into a silence so complete it feels like a warm blanket laid over the night. Your body drifts with it, sinking deeper into the soft gravity of rest. The darkness around Voyager is no longer empty. It becomes a cradle, a soft bed of velvet space holding the craft in endless calm. The darkness around you becomes a cradle as well. You feel your mind sinking into it, not falling, but settling, like a leaf drifting onto still water. Starlight becomes memory. Memory becomes warmth. Warmth becomes sleep. And as this section of the journey closes, an image lingers like a long sigh. Voyager drifting through a quiet field of stars, each one glowing like a faint memory of home, each one whispering through the dark as time itself moves like a soft wind across a field of endless night. The soft wind of time moves over that quiet field of stars, and from its gentle motion, the final layer of stillness begins to gather around you. It is thinner than thought, warmer than silence, and you feel it settle across your chest like a slow, familiar breath. Voyager drifts somewhere far beyond the last bright edge of your imagination now, and yet it feels closer than ever. Your body is heavy, wonderfully heavy, resting as though the mattress beneath you has become part of the night itself. Your breath is the slowest it has been, warm air easing out of you like a whisper that no longer needs words. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to release, only this soft presence moving through your awareness like a tide smoothing out the last ripples on a dark lake. In the vastness beyond the stars, Voyager continues on, not with urgency, not with purpose, but with a gentle persistence that mirrors your own quiet endurance. Its systems dim a little more each year, until one day the instruments will fall silent and the radio will close its long threaded whisper. But in this story, in this soft night, silence is not an ending. It is a settling, a returning, a blending into the larger quiet that has always existed around it. You feel that same blending inside yourself. Where earlier there were thoughts, images, memories, ideas, now there is only a warm haze, drifting like mist through a field at dawn. Your breath warms that haze, your heartbeat steadies it. Your stillness shapes it into a place that belongs entirely to you. The spacecraft moves through its future with no audience, no destination, no need to be anything other than what it is. And you, lying here, drifting deeper with every slow exhale, feel that same permission bloom quietly inside your chest. A long inhale rises, a long sighing exhale falls. If you listen inwardly, you might notice a faint hum, not a sound your ears hear, but a feeling your awareness recognizes. It is the subtle vibration of your own aliveness, softened to its gentlest form. This hum is the quiet echo of everything you are, everything you have been, everything you carry without needing to name it. It is the same hum that was with you when the story began. Only now, it is softer, closer, warm as a heartbeat under a sleeping hand. Voyager has a hum too, or once did. The faint tremble of its power system, the soft vibration of machinery cooling in endless night. Those vibrations travelled through its frame and into the dark, becoming part of the cosmic quiet long before reaching any distant star. Your hum travels too, not across galaxies, but through the chambers of your mind, the softness of your breath, the warmth beneath your skin. It settles into all the places that hold tension and tells them gently that they may rest now. Your awareness drifts toward that warmth, not sharply, not deliberately, just as a leaf drifts toward the area of the pond where the water is the stillest. Voyager carries memories encoded in gold. You carry memories encoded in feeling. Both remain, even as consciousness grows lighter and quieter, even as thought dissolves into a soft glowing mist that requires no effort to follow. Far away, the galaxy continues its slow turning, stars orbiting its center in cycles longer than any story ever told. Voyager will ride that turning for ages, carried like a seed on a deep cosmic wind. You ride a different wind, the one that moves through your breath and settles into your muscles. You drift toward a sleep that feels not like an ending, but like a continuation of this soft, unbroken quiet. The stars above Voyager do not judge its fading power. They do not ask it to shine or speak or arrive. They simply exist around it, holding space for its gentle presence. The night around you does the same. The pillow cradles your head. The sheets hold your weight. The darkness behind your eyelids stretches open like a sky waiting for dawn. And now, in this deep quiet, something echoes softly from the very beginning of the journey. The hum of air around you. It is not loud. It is barely noticeable. But it surrounds you the way the heliosphere once surrounded Voyager, gently, protectively. Only now that hum feels different. Not outside you, not above you, not around you, but within you. As your breath flows, you feel it. A faint vibration, a soft warmth, a steady presence at the center of your being. This is where the story folds together. Voyager's path through the galaxy, and your path through this quiet night. Two different journeys, two different silences, one shared hum. The spacecraft drifts slowly, endlessly, through a darkness that welcomes it like a cradle. You drift into sleep, slowly, effortlessly, into a darkness that holds you with the same calm grace. There is no need to think now, no need to guide your breath. Your body knows what to do. Your mind knows how to soften. Your awareness knows how to dissolve into the warm, velvet hush gathering inside you. And as your thoughts grow lighter, as the edges of the waking world blur and dim, a final, gentle truth rises like a star behind your closed eyes. The universe hums, Voyager hums, and now the hum rests quietly within you, steady as a forgotten star, soft as nightfall, deep as sleep. The world fades into stillness. Your breath moves with the dark, and everything, for now, is beautifully, patiently, completely at rest.